Today we're at Jessel. Jessel has been pushing valvetrain limits for decades, and today we're going to show you exactly how. Jessel started in the 80s solving a problem most people didn't even understand yet: valvetrain instability. They built the first real aftermarket shaft rocker system and changed the game. In the 90s, they introduced the Keyway lifter, stronger, lighter, and more stable. As power levels climbed, so did demand. Jessel scaled up, more machines, more precision, more development. Then came the extreme stuff: Top Fuel, Pro Mod, where parts don't just make power, they survive it. Now, it's not just race cars, boosted street cars, diesel platforms. Same level of engineering, just applied differently. After losing founder Dan Jessel, the company didn't slow down, it kept evolving. And most people don't realize a lot of what we consider standard today started right here. All right, I'm here with my buddy Grant and my buddy Bob. We're gonna walk around the shop and see how everything is made. One thing that's really cool I've seen is that they have a screen full of all of the efficiency of the machines in each room. So you can show the operator, they can show how long ago the machine was running, how quickly each cycle time was. Something really cool. It's just data, and that is what separates Jessel from everybody else.
We have these on each machine, the company, and they detect just a vibration. They learn sort of the rhythm of the machine.
Yeah.
And the transfers. After a few cycles, it understands what the cycle time is.
So it's like a vibration.
Yeah, it's just detects vibrations. That's all it is. WTW 150. So this has the capacity to hold 48 tools, a mix of live head and turning tools. Basically what we're doing now is taking a blank of 12L14 and turning it into a cam adapter. The whole process takes about 9 minutes, 15 seconds. We're using about 15 different tools to do that. It's pretty much a finished part, very light deburring we have to do. Then it goes out, gets heat treated, coated, ends up looking like that. So we call it a chuck job, so we have to put a piece in, take a piece out. All the other machines in this room, they're basically automatic. So once you start them, they'll just keep running. A bunch of dimensions we have to check to make sure it properly fits on the camshaft and to that spider. Basically, so for the ID, we have about a half thou tolerance. And we check these with these sun engagers right here. And you see if we stick it on there, We're right in the sweet spot there. That's where we want it. So as far as the ID goes, that's good. But there's, like I said, each half is made on head 1, head 2. So there's an OD on this side we have to check, keep in tolerance. An OD on this side we have to check, keep in tolerance. Just so, you know, that fits to the camshaft, that fits to the spider. There's no wiggle room, it's not too tight, it's not too loose. Like I said, for both ODs and IDs, we have about a half thou tolerance. We also have bolts that go in here, so the bolt holes, there's heights in there. The flats in there have to be a certain height, so the bolts sit correctly at the right height. They're not going too deep. So that's why we have this height gauge here. We are checking the height of this pocket. I mean, we have to turn around, check the height of this pocket. I mean, there's a lot of dimensions. You have to get right or scrap. That's the tough thing. Like getting guys in here that it's almost like a dying trade these days, that understand prints, understand, you know, I don't think they have machine shops like they used to back in the day.
Explain how the part's made, but what this does, it bolts to the end of the camshaft and provides the taper for the cam pulley to be installed on the Jessel belt drive. You can see here, this will be on the end of the camshaft. That allows the cam pulley to be bolted to the front of the motor.
Here, let me lower it for you. There you go.
This is how they move people around here. And
now we'll jack them up.
Look at this. This is VIP service at Jessel.
Milling department has their own. They actually have 3 over here. We have 2 over here. These are most of the tools we use in this department. Not all of them, but most of them. And basically each employee gets a number to put in here. And then they just put the number in here, what tool they need. And what that does, it keeps track of what comes out. This tool crib company, they get a report, probably like Tuesday or Wednesday. They know what tools we took out. And then on Thursday, they come back and replenish anything we took out. This way we don't run out of tools.
Big thanks to Victor for walking us through that section. Keep watching.
We have multiple lathes, and typically one operator will run all 4 lathes in each cell. Over here we make our lifter bodies and our bushings. This is one of our most popular lifters. It's a 937 Keyway.
So it's keying it in order to keep it
oriented. Example of one of our 937 Keyway lifter bushings. We make these in a variety of different diameters. So after it gets finished machined out here, then it goes to grinding, then heat treat, then DLC coating, and then you wind up with a finished part, fully assembled.
That's the fully assembled part right there. Yeah. 1.1" top fuel lifter being made right here. So they're completely rebuildable. You can take them apart and you can just fix them.
Yep.
Look at the size of the oil hole. Like that thing is gigantic. It's about to swallow oil. Wow. You know, guys, you don't get to see this kind of stuff every day. Top fuel lifters just hanging out here at Jessel.
If you notice, there's a clip holding the axle in. So it's not pressed into the body, so it doesn't stress around the bore where the pin is.
And what usually fails on this? Like, is it stretch this hole? Like, where are they usually, if they're gonna fail, how are they gonna fail?
When the motor blows up.
Oh, when the motor blows up. Yeah. So usually like these are not
when they bang
wearing.
the blower off, then aluminum gets in there and, you know.
Scratch up the board and everything else.
Yeah.
So all this stuff like never breaks off. Is this a needle bearing?
Yes.
I feel like needle bearings get so much bad press, like they're gonna come apart. Like in the LS stuff, everybody's worried about.
I mean, they get bad publicity from some people. We do offer bushings,
but most everybody's
we prefer
using
needle because it's, in our opinion, it's better.
So our next area here in the assembly room is our lifter assembly. They'll handle anything from tie bar lifters to keyway lifters, top fuel alcohol, and even overhead cam followers get assembled in this area. So if we come around here, I got Patrick, one of our assemblers. He's going to put a lifter together for us.
Like I said, this for a 6.0/6.4 power stroke, this set. So this actually gets our bushed installation. So these you just want a little end play, so that way the bushing doesn't ever seize up on you. So I just flip it around, make sure it's got a little end play. And I take this, slide in there like that, and I use this guide pin. I come on over here, the guide pin in there, and if you go over here, see all the axles that I got set up. So this takes our 905 axle. And it's really simple, just pop it in with the groove there, spin it until you hear it click. And it's just nice solid press fit. And I just roll it, make sure it's got side to side play. And I just check the lifter holes, make sure that when I pin it, there's nothing in there, no issues. And then I'll move on down the line there, and that's where it gets pinned and then goes together. So it's our 937 Keyway body application, which gets our standard roller. So same operation as the tie bar, sort of. Just put the guide pin in there, roll it, make sure there's nothing binding up in it, make sure it's got side to side play in there. I put it in the fixture here. Yeah, these have a specific oil groove in them, so they got to go a certain way. So this goes up in there like that, and it goes off to the left until you hear it click. That way it oils the pin down. And same thing, just press fit just like that. Just roll it, make sure it's got end-to-end play. Nothing's binding up. So we just insert this pin inside the lifter body, holds our axle in place. So for any reason, if something was to happen, roller can't come out. So just put a little dab of grease on that so it slides in nicely. Slide the pin in. And just pop it into here. Same thing, it's just a nice, easy press fit. Again, I always just double check my roller, make sure there's nothing hanging it up. Now, switch gears real quick. Let's pop this pin out, then install the piston. So same thing with this, just put a little grease in there so it slides in easily. And a little grease around here so that way it seats nicely. So we have a little slot in the piston so it sits on the pin. Slide that in. And then I have an alignment tool here just to make sure it seats nicely before I press it in. So that's locked in. Back in there. Nice press fit. So now you can see pistons in there. And we check it aligns with our oil hole there. And that's pretty much it. I always double check my roller, like I said, make sure nothing hangs it up in the process. And we're good.
I sure hope you like how Jessel made the lifter, but next up we're going to learn how they make rockers. So make sure you keep watching, subscribe, and wait for the next one. Toodles.